For more than 50 years, Senator Strom Thurmond held the record for the longest speech ever delivered on the Senate floor, an astonishing 24 hours and 18 minutes. However, it's crucial to remember that his marathon speech was not an act of heroism, but rather an attempt to derail the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Thurmond was so vehemently opposed to the idea of equal rights for all Americans that he stood and spoke for an entire day in defiance of progress. That record stood for nearly 7 decades, until today. Enter Senator Cy Booker. A man whom Thurmond, during his time, would have sought to silence, now stands in the very place that he fought to restrict. Booker has surpassed Thurmond's record, cementing his own place in history. But what's most significant about this moment is what it represents beyond just breaking a record. Despite Booker's exhaustive efforts, the political landscape won't shift drastically overnight. The reality is that Democrats, being in the minority, have limited power. They cannot easily pass legislation or halt much of the Trump administration's agenda. In such challenging times, what's desperately needed is for elected officials to demonstrate resilience, to step up, think outside the box, and, as the late John Lewis urged, get into good trouble, necessary trouble. That's exactly what Booker has done. Booker knew the constraints of his position. He couldn't pass or block legislation, but he could make a statement. And so, he stood for over 24 hours, without pause, without rest, without even using the restroom, to send a clear message. In a time when the electorate is yearning for leaders to fight for them, Booker's act of endurance is more than just symbolic, it's essential. It matters because people need to see that their representatives are willing to go the distance, literally and figuratively. For months, many of us have been calling for action, urging our leaders to meet the moment with urgency. If they cannot, or will not, then they should step aside for those who will. It is frustrating to not only watch Republicans consistently defeat Democrats but to also anticipate those defeats in advance. The political battles playing out in Congress, the White House, and the media are being fought under completely different rules. Yes, it's unfair that one side bends the truth without consequence, disregards laws, and manipulates the media. But pointing out the unfairness is no longer enough. We need action. We need fighters. We need leaders willing to get their hands dirty, to speak out, to rally the American people, and to stand, literally, for what is right. Booker's speech, lasting over 24 hours, was a powerful condemnation of the threats to democracy posed by figures like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. His endurance is a call to arms for his colleagues in the Senate and House. This should not just be seen as an impressive achievement, but as the new standard, the bar that others must now strive to reach. The question now is, how will other Democrats respond? Will they put their bodies on the line? Will they protest? Will they break through the noise and engage directly with the people? Will they hold town halls in conservative strongholds? This is not a time for doing the bare minimum, it is a time for doing the absolute most because the stakes are nothing short of democracy itself. History demands bold action. And today, Booker answered that call. As he stood on the Senate floor, surpassing Thurmond's record, he sent a message. I'm not here because of his speech. I'm here despite it. As powerful as he was, the people were more powerful. His words, echoing the legacy of John Lewis, serve as a challenge to his colleagues. What will you do to meet this moment? This is not just about recognizing Booker's endurance, it's about answering his call to fight.